I've always thought of social media, and you taught me this 18 months ago on the journey we've been on with the podcast. Yeah, I always some of the listeners have heard me say before. If you're going to sit down and have a 30 or 45 or 60-minute discussion, when it's done, it's like a loaf of bread, and nobody's going to, unless you are one of Joe Rogan's followers, right, where you're going to sit down for 3 hours and listen to the whole thing. It's just not normal. So
Yeah.
Benali, Khalil's company, taught me the value of slicing that loaf up into 6, 8, or
Right.
10 slices, and then, the snackable bite size slices. It's up to me to find the right intersections in social media world where the ideal customers that I wanna talk to are, and put a little piece at that intersection, and maybe 2 I'll do that with 2 or 3 different pieces, and if they never pick up more than those 2 or 3 clips, they've got something valuable, and they're valuable as a standalone. If it sparks curiosity, you might go and listen to more, take more of the loaf. But man, Khalil, I'll tell you, I never that's not what I thought when I started this, but now I see, it's what it is, and I really see the value of quality editing, um, in order to just make sure that that's crisp, clear, micro lessons or razor
Yeah.
the editing brings the point into focus. And so
Right. Well, and that's
whereas
what
I
I mean by
see.
the delivery. Like
Yes.
you're gonna in multiple ways. The long form episode is a big ask for people to listen to, and you are gonna find raving fans and people that this 100% applies to that are gonna listen to our full episodes here on Experience Builders. Majority of people will find a clip and actually watch the whole thing because it's, less than 5 minutes long and it's specific to something they were just thinking about, or a question they had, right? And that's not as big of an ask. And you want to make sure that you're delivering that content to people in a realistic and engaging way. You have to be able to be entertaining with your content. And that's why AI is going to do, probably a lot with content. There's video editing tools that, put graphics together and they can make it engaging and all that stuff. But in a different way, like most people that are listening to this are a subject matter expert, I would imagine. They have some sort of expertise. And it may be very specific. It may be fairly broad to the industry, but they know something and they know how to do it really well. That's what you need to focus on. And that's how you need to get your message out to the world is by focusing on that. Like, Chris, we're going to have a huge challenge on our hands and we're not doing things right if we get 100,000 monthly listeners, because that means that like that's too big for our target audience.
Yeah.
Our target audience isn't that large. Maybe worldwide, maybe it could be, but for the most part, if we were hitting those kind of metrics on listens, we might need to rethink what we're doing. We're either being just insanely uh, entertaining in the format that we're talking, or we're just not delivering the right message. But
Well, I'm listening. I'm using myself as everything you're saying is absolutely correct. We've had other episodes on the show that we've talked about that all now are coming together when we talk about understanding what our content offering is. We've talked about identifying the importance of your ideal customer. If I know
mhm,
who my ideal customer is, I know what intersections on social media to look for them at. And
absolutely,
if you're somebody who's targeting healthcare companies or you're targeting auto show type customers, you're going to be in different places on the B2B, chat rooms and portals than somebody who's just, well, I'm trying to get 150,000 exhibitors in my database, which can absolutely just. I remember when we used to want to be that company decades ago, and you go, we're just choking ourselves trying to thinking that more prospects in a database meant more opportunity. It absolutely
mhm,
doesn't. You talked
yeah,
about we did a show a couple of months ago on defining your unique selling proposition. Right, your content is going to be based around a big part of it is going to be based around that. So I
yeah,
love that. I mean, this is all tied together. You can hit up us on our YouTube channel. All of these clips, full episodes, and then there's over 100 of these short clips are there. So if you're
Yeah,
serious about going, we got to start doing it differently. Let's face it, none of us are making our living cold calling directories and show books anymore. Not saying that might
yeah.
not be part of your mix, but you're better
Well,
off intentionally going after a specific profile of customer that
yeah.
you've identified as a good fit for you. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and I think going back to the measurement piece, people create content and they may expect, "Well, I only got 1 like," or, "I didn't get any likes or comments on this." Don't worry about that aspect of it. I think I told you, Chris, early on, the only thing that you need to be focused on in terms of measurement for experience builders is how many people come up to you and tell you, "Hey, I loved the podcast episode that you did," or "I love that you're doing this," or whatever. That's what you should be measuring. If it's resonating enough with people where they are thinking about it or they're willing to talk to you and give you a compliment, then
Yeah.
you've done your job because it means that your message is getting out, that it's sticking.